This is the IBJ podcast for the week of April 1st, 2019. I'm Mason King. Welcome back to the podcast, folks. Now, for reasons that will become clear fairly quickly, we're going to start today in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a great town where city officials have been pushing for a groundbreaking rapid transit system using electric buses. Here's a report from KRQE TV in 2016.
It's full steam ahead as far as the city is concerned for the controversial ART project. Despite pending lawsuits, questions about federal funding, and a push to get it on the ballot, the mayor today unveiled what the new ART buses will look like.
This is a great project. There's a reason that this has been deemed the best project in America.
Now, let's listen to a report from KOA TV late last year after Albuquerque received and tested the buses from China-based manufacturer BYD Ltd.
In a news conference today, the mayor's office outlined all of the ways they say bus vendor Build Your Dreams violated their contract. Now, they say they reached out to BYD to try to settle this out of court, but got no response, and today they officially filed a lawsuit.
We need to hold them accountable for what they've done to our city and for their lack of adherence to a contract that they signed.
So, why is Albuquerque's experience relevant to Indianapolis? Well, as you know, IndyGo is deep into the creation of a rapid transit system using electric buses, and the bus manufacturer is BYD Ltd, the same vendor that Albuquerque used. IndyGo has been testing the buses before the Red Line launches on Labor Day weekend, and it has found one of the same problems that Albuquerque did, namely that they don't go as far on a full charge as they have been led to believe. Now, with me in the studio to discuss this development and what IndyGo is trying to do to resolve the problem is IBJ transportation reporter Susan Orr. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you.
Right. This is your debut on the podcast. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Sure. So, as anybody with a car in Indianapolis knows, IndyGo is deep into creating the infrastructure for the Red Line, which runs from Broad Ripple south through Meridian Kessler to downtown and then the University of Indianapolis campus. And that's just the first of 2 or 3 major rapid transit lines planned for the city. There's the red, the purple, and is there one other?
The blue.
The blue, okay. So we're about 5 months away from the Red Line launch, and the buses that IndyGo has received from BYD so far have not been up to snuff. So what have they discovered about the range of these buses on a full charge?
Well, what was promised and what IndyGo required was that they wanted the buses to go 275 miles on a single charge, which would allow the buses to run all day long between charges and then charge overnight. What IndyGo has found, they've done, as of last week, had done 22 different range tests, which basically means the IndyGo drivers took these buses out, drove them around town to see how long they could go before they ran out of charge. And they have not been able to get more than 256 miles out of a single charge, and in about half the cases, they haven't even made it to 200 miles.
Okay, so that's much less.
Right, it's significantly less.
Yeah. Why do they think they're having those problems?
Well, there's several different reasons that can affect range, climate, terrain, driver behavior. But in this case, IndyGo believes that it's the cold that is hurting the performance, the cold weather.
Mm-hmm. Did they test them here, or is there another place where they test them?
The test results that IndyGo's reporting are the tests that their drivers did on local streets here.
Okay. And so they started, I believe, in October?
That's right. They got the first bus in September. They started testing in October. The tests are ongoing, but for purposes of our story, we used data that ran through, I think, March 19th.
Okay. So it was winter in Indianapolis. It was cold.
Correct.
And so they think that the cold is at least partially to blame.
Yes, the way it's been explained to me, it's not the cold weather itself, it's the use of the heater. And obviously the colder it is, the more you have to run the heater to keep the driver and the passengers comfortable. And it's the use of the heater that drains the battery.
Okay. What about the air conditioning during the summer?
From what I'm told, the AC does not drain the battery in the same way. So the expectation is that in warmer weather, the batteries should perform better. But of course, we haven't had that kind of weather here, so the only testing that IndyGo's done is in the colder months.
Yeah, which is completely irrelevant because it typically gets cold in Indianapolis. So let's back it up for a second. How many buses has IndyGo ordered?
They have ordered 13 for the Red Line, of which, as of last week, they had 5 in their possession, and they're expecting the others to, come in the next several months. They also went ahead and put an order in at the same time in 2017 for 18 buses for the Purple Line, because in putting those 2 orders together, BYD gave them a 5% discount on the price of each bus. So that's why they did 2 orders at once.
Okay. Is the Purple Line going up next? Is that the?
That's right. And then the Blue Line is the third.
And how much do these buses cost?
The per bus cost is about $1.2 million each.
Wow. And these are, I don't want to use the word revolutionary, but this is still fairly new technology.
That's correct. When I talked to the American Public Transit Association for the story, they said that at their last count, which was last summer, they counted, I think, fewer than 200 buses, electric buses, in fleets anywhere in the U.S., just among the respondents. So, it's a very small percentage, but it's growing as more transit systems get interested in this green technology. It's not widespread yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, in a sense, we're leading on this, but we're also kind of the guinea pigs.
You could look at it that way.
Okay. And how are these being paid for?
It's a combination of funding sources. You might remember that IndyGo got a fairly sizable $75 million federal grant. So the grant money is funding 80% of the cost, and then the other 20% is from local sources, and that includes both different taxes, and also the fares that passengers pay to ride the buses.
So what has been IndyGo's reaction to these problems at this point? How is it choosing to deal with this?
From what they told me last week, they are in conversations ongoing with BYD about how to address the problem, and nothing has been, I guess, formally agreed to or decided yet, but the path it looks like they're going down is to install some charging stations along the route, so that perhaps at the end of a round trip, which would be every 26 miles, the bus would pull over and it would charge for some period of time, maybe 20 minutes. Not enough to fully recharge it, but to keep the buses going throughout the day. And they are anticipating that BYD would pay for this.
And then are they also looking at bringing on more buses?
Yes.
To sort of fill the gap that would happen in the schedule?
That's right, because the promise that IndyGo made was that at peak times, these buses would be coming every 10 minutes. So if you pull a bus out of service for 20 minutes to charge it, you've got to have another bus to backfill it. Otherwise, you've got a 20-minute gap. So I think they're estimating they might need 2 additional buses, and that's something that IndyGo is also saying that it wants BYD to pay for.
Mm-hmm. Is BYD said whether or not it would?
No, they're not saying too much about the situation at this point. In general, we asked them, a bunch of questions, including why they think these buses are not achieving the range and what they are doing to address it. And they sent a statement which pretty much said they're continuing to work with IndyGo to get these buses up to the expected standard, but they didn't go into details.
So is there any hope that the range of these particular buses would get better?
I don't know about these particular buses. In general, there's a general agreement that this battery technology is evolving and getting better, steadily. And so as battery technology improves and as the batteries are able to carry more of a charge, then the vehicles can go for a longer range. I don't know how that would translate into these specific vehicles that IndyGo has.
So Albuquerque obviously was looking at electric buses for a long time. If they had such problems with theirs, why did IndyGo buy buses from BYD?
Well, it's a timing issue. IndyGo ordered its buses in the summer of 2017, and Albuquerque did not even get its buses until several months later, so there's no way that they could have known.
Now, why wouldn't IndyGo just go cancel the contract and say, we're going to start over? Because I think Albuquerque sent their buses back.
They did. After about a year of working with them, the city said that it felt like it had reached the end of the line in terms of being able to work with them, and so they sent the buses back. Albuquerque had some other issues with the buses that don't appear to be a problem here. Albuquerque noticed, they said they noticed a lot of safety problems with the buses in terms of brakes not working right, passenger doors opening when they shouldn't open, and none of those sort of things are occurring in Indianapolis, as far as what IndyGo tells me. The problems with these buses is just the range issues. So,
a workable problem.
That's what they're thinking, is that if they can get this en route charging situation figured out, and if it works for the red line, then it theoretically should also work for the purple line and the blue line. And so their interest now is just in, charging towards the Labor Day launch date for the red line. And obviously, if they canceled the contract and had to go with another bus vendor, that would put things very, very much behind schedule.
Mm-hmm. But they could cancel the contract if they wanted to. I mean, they have that axe they can.
They could,
wield, yeah.
Yes, they could.
And aren't there also some other reasons why it would be very difficult? For example, IndyGo cannot just go back to its regular fleet of buses and run them on a red line.
Right. The big issue is that some of the platforms for boarding are curbside, as you've probably seen if you go down on the south side. You're standing by the side of the road to get on the bus. But towards the northern end, some of the platforms are kind of in the middle of the road, which means the passengers will be boarding from the left side. So you need buses that have both left and right side doors. IndyGo's existing fleet, they only have right side doors. So that's where the big problem would be.
Yeah. So it's kind of designed for that product that they ordered.
Yeah, you could say that.
So apart from the problem with range, there doesn't seem to be any indication that these are not safe.
No, IndyGo has not indicated that. I mean, they're aware of the complaints that Albuquerque has made, and they say that they haven't been able to replicate any of those issues or seen any of those structural problems that Albuquerque is claiming. They also say that the buses have passed federal vehicle safety standards so that they're roadworthy and safe. It's just, for IndyGo, it's the range issue that they're concerned with.
Okay. And they're still confident that they can make that September or that Labor Day weekend.
At this point, that's what they're saying.
So it seems like the plan then is just for IndyGo to play the hand that's been dealt, and then while trying to hold BYD to the fire.
That's how they outlined it to me, yes.
So it probably will finish that 13 bus order for the red line, but we don't know about the purple line buses.
That's correct. Like I said before, I think their thought is that if they can get the mid-route charging, and if it works for the red line, that it should work also for the purple and the blue lines. And the path of least resistance, it seems like, would be to continue with that order if they can, but nothing's been decided yet.
Well, great. Well, let's check in a couple of months maybe, and we'll see how it goes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks, Susan. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
My thanks again to Susan. You can check out her story about the buses in the latest issue of IBJ. And before you get on with your week, I want to draw your attention to another story in this week's paper. John Russell has a preview of the trial of Paul Elmer, the owner and president of Pharmacon Pharmaceuticals in Noblesville. Pharmacon's specialty was mixing drugs, or as they say, compounding drugs, to make medicines. Federal prosecutors say that some of Pharmacon's medicines were either underpotent or overpotent beyond accepted levels, raising concerns that they would either be ineffective or cause severe harm. Elmer allegedly knew about such problems but did nothing to address them, and then obstructed an investigation by the Food and Drug Administration. Elmer has pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors say they will call as witnesses multiple employees who will offer firsthand testimony. Again, you can read all about it on the front page of the copy of IBJ you undoubtedly have delivered to your home or office, or at IBJ.com. As always, if you would like unfettered access to all of IBJ's award-winning content, just hit the subscribe button. Thanks again for making time for the IBJ podcast, which is edited by Leslie Weidenbender. I'm Mason King, and we'll be back again next week.